During the pandemic lockdown, many people found themselves holed up with family members, for better or for worse.
I don't know if that is really good enough for a date night.
But for 25-year-old New York resident Kim Merstein, moving in with her grandma Gail turned into millions and millions of views on TikTok.
I thought TikTok was little girls dancing maybe 6 months ago.
You called it TikTok until
TikTok.
I believe it.
I thought it came out of a bottle, right? And I was supposed to suck it or something. I don't know what it was.
And it turned out to be the perfect platform for Kim, who was dating during the pandemic.
I moved in with my grandparents in Florida in the middle of the pandemic, left New York City, and as a single 25-year-old girl, I wasn't going to stop my dating life, obviously safely outside. My grandma was definitely urging me to go out and do that.
And Grandma Gail, who naturally gave her granddaughter advice, sharing her keen, witty, and often surprising opinions about dating in the 2020s.
One of the main reasons we started this was for you to really fix my dating life. I think
that was a big problem. I didn't like her dates, and I kept telling her certain red flags were definitely flying up in the air, and she wasn't catching them.
And it doesn't end there. Grandma Gail weighs in on everything from fashion.
I love it, but you have to be very tall.
Date night ideas to my favorite, interpreting text messages.
Sorry, I haven't seen any of your texts. I'm so bad at texting.
You know what? That's a bunch of baloney. Everybody's texting now.
What started with videos on TikTok, which have amassed over 3 million views and over 165,000 followers, has blossomed into a podcast.
She was being the classic Jewish grandma, over involved, swiping through my dating apps for me, picking out all my outfits. And we realized all of the generational differences when it comes to dating from the 1950s and 60s to now. Of course, we have social media and dating apps and all of these things that just changed the game.
A cornerstone of Grandma Gail's philosophy, no hooking up.
Well, first of all, I'm a product of the 50s. So you know that my philosophy is to get an engagement ring and get married, and then you should go to bed with a man. You don't go to a bed with a man before.
Mm-hmm.
So we always played hard to get.
Don't look for perfection.
When you start looking for perfection, you're never going to be happy.
And the Tylenol rule.
I was dating somebody who lived in the building when I was living with her. And I would constantly go down and give this guy Tylenol when he was feeling sick because I was a simp. And
she was a sucker.
I kept doing it. And grandma was like, hypothetically, would he bring you Tylenol? And I was like, he wouldn't.
Kim and Grandma Gail hope they inspire both generations to close the gap with open, honest, and no doubt funny conversations that in the end enriches everyone.
I want the generations to understand each other a lot more than they do now. I think it's really easy to say, oh, the older generations, they don't know what it's like today. They're not as open. They're not as inclusive. Understanding what they've gone through would actually help us as well.